live from Morris, Minnesota. All by myself. All by myself. It's okay. We're just going to catch everybody up to speed on what's been happening over the last week anyway. So, I'll give everybody just a little bit.
We made a whole new one.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just doing the market, redo the one.
I didn't know how to reschedule the date on it. So I did the best I could with what I had. Thanks.
It takes a lot of work for me to get set up.
Nothing like having somebody backseat stream for you. Have I?
And I've done.
Have I? I was not aware of that fact.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, you are first. Ubi is first. Yay.
Yeah, you don't have the time to gather people like you.
I know. It's kind of one of those things where...
You're going to have to band for a little bit.
I know, right? Do, 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 do. I don't know. I could do a sing and dance, I guess. But yeah, so it's snowing outside. Spitting at us more than heavy snow, but it is cold and snowy, which is why my coat is on, because I am cold. This room is actually really nice. Some of you guys have seen it already. Ubi's comfortable. And that's the important thing. My hands are frigid and the rest of me is cold, but that's probably also because I'm probably running a little anemic this week. But yeah, so we're getting settled into Morris. First day here, I kind of did an accidental walking tour in that I was trying to get to one place and ended up walking all over the place. So, walking all over this town. I probably walked at least 5 miles that day. Found the Mexi Mart. They have a regular grocery store, regular supermarket store. Kind of a little Mexi Mart place. I have not found the other grocery store. That is the one that is tied more directly to the local farms. But that is one I do intend to hit up eventually. As I kind of want to see what we can get fresh, if you will. And then Ubi still doesn't have his big computer set up, which is why we didn't have the ramp up music tonight, because all of that is kept on his computer, which is one of those things. It's the downsides of moving is that you lose access to some of the things that you've had and some of the things you took for granted. But we'll get it set up and get everything settled. It's probably going to take us a little longer to get into a place than we expected originally, but it'll be good when it happens. I do officially start on Monday, April 6th. I got the notice from the Human Resources lady today. They did get the computer in. That was the holdup, was my work computer. They didn't have it in stock. They had to order it, and small town problems, small town life. It took a while to get here because you do not have Amazon 2-day or overnight delivery directly to here. That just isn't even really an option thing. So it's kind of one of those things. I was gonna have some tennis shoes actually ordered to here, and I was checking out whether they had an Amazon locker. They don't, for the record. They could technically deliver to the hotel, but I'm a little iffy on doing that. I suppose I could mail it to Ubi Station, but I'm also a little iffy on doing that until things get settled in. So which kind of dealing with things as they go. Um, we have got a microwave and a coffee pot in the room, so basically we've been doing the sandwiches and ramen noodles and occasionally eating a little out here and there because for a couple of reasons. Well, obviously the biggest reason is that it's hard to cook real meals in there. And the other reason is that it's important that Ubi and I, in the positions that we're in, be out in the community and be getting to know people and be seen in the community and be experiencing the community. So that is an important aspect of both of our jobs because we've got to promote the place. In fact, one of the things I did today, I haven't even officially started my job, like I said, but I did set up an appointment to meet with the basically lady who does the booking for events here at the hotel, and her name is Lizette. Real sweet lady from South Africa. So she was giving me a tour of the place, and they have done so much work to upgrade this little place and make it really nice. And I was telling her that there are a couple of concepts I had for doing events there. One of the concepts is obviously doing a writer's retreat because that's something I just love doing. And then the second is to do an entrepreneurship boot camp and expo. So the boot camp for the first 5 days and then the expo at the end of the week. And kind of help people figure out what they've got to offer and leverage that they could use to get their own businesses going. And maybe even make contributions to the community, because something I've noticed, and it's not just Morris, it tends to be all over the place, but there's a lot of people who are showing evidence of a low morale and struggles with finding hope and struggles with feeling like they have a valuable place in the community. And so anything that I can do to help improve morale, to help give people options and opportunities. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Can I improve my sound? Is that better, Jeff? Good to see you. Maybe I'll just hold the microphone. There you go. Just like one of those old-fashioned things. Stuck at the hospital with your client and on laptop speakers. That kind of stinks. So, yeah, any rate, so talking with her about possibly putting on a writer's retreat and maybe an entrepreneurship expo, boot camp and expo. So like the first 6 days to kind of help people figure out what they've got, put together a plan to promote themselves. Be a newscaster girl. That's right. That's me. Newscaster girl. Latest news in Morse. But any rates, kind of goofing around. So yeah, I actually have a 6-day, well, technically I have a 7-day plan. But the first day plan would be to work with the churches on turning problems into profits, PROPHETS, basically teaching them how to use the same principles you use for entrepreneurship to evangelize people, and then turning those people that attended that part of it into helpers for the rest of the week, getting them involved and helping the people who would come from outside of town or even from within town.
One moment, please.
Un momento, por favor.
too. Wow, that's way too hot. Way too hot. Way too hot. Let's bring that down. Way down. All right, now try talking.
Now try talking. Let's see. Yeah, that's about right. That should be better.
It's a little low still.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Let me continue talking and hopefully we can get it better.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, yeah. Talking about doing, like I said, the entrepreneurship thing. Because, basically I look at it, my job is not so much a tourism coordinator as it is to serve the people of Morris in whatever capacity I'm capable. And the tourism coordination is sort of an excuse to do that. Hey, it's Steve Gunner.
Be sure to talk in the direction.
Yes, I'm sorry. My husband is telling me that I need to talk in the direction of the microphone, as otherwise you guys are not going to be able to hear me. And, that's always probably good advice. I probably should scoot up, but I'm short and vertically challenged, so maybe I should tilt the camera down a little bit too. Oop, nope, that didn't help. That just blurred the heck out of things. There you go, that's better. Probably got me more in frame, and now I'm a little better. Not able to listen. Need you guys to tell me if it's good enough. Oh, okay. Yeah. So at any rate, we are getting settled in little by little, step at a time. I did a college campus tour on Tuesday. Yes, I am looking to finish up my associate's degree. Because, an associate's degree, that and $1.60 might buy you something that passes for a cheap cup of coffee somewhere. So, yeah, I know, right? Nice leg shots. Evening, Timmy! Good to see you! Yes, so we are basically, and part of the reason I did that is I wanted to have the experience of what it was like to be on campus. Also, I am thinking about going back to college since it's a part-time position. I should have time. I discovered that they have something very unique to their campus. A couple of things, actually. First of all, they have a horse barn. That is right. If you own a horse and you want to attend college, but you don't want to be parted from your horse, you can bring your horse with you to Morris, Minnesota. They do have a horse barn. It is a functional horse barn. I know, right? The degree is toilet paper is about what it's good for. So the other thing they have that is unique to them is that they were a Native American boarding school. That's actually how it started, was they were one of those boarding schools that took Native American kids and put them up there, took them away from their parents and posted them up there. Proud moments in American history, obviously. And so there were a lot of deaths of those kids, which leads to the third unique talking point for the University of Minnesota Morris, which they did not tell me about on my walking tour, but which I did discover with a little bit of judicious research. They are actually a haunted campus. So that should be fun. Apparently there are several spots on campus where things get moved, doors open and close on their own, various other things. So, if you get proper permission, perhaps paranormal research is possible on that campus. You like bars, don't care if horses in it as long as as long as they have beers. Yeah. So we have a horse barn. We have a Native American dormitory school. It's still, that building still exists. The historical building still exists. They built the campus around it, essentially, to commemorate what happened there so that it doesn't get lost. Native Americans do get free tuition at the campus. So if there's anybody who has Native American heritage or has somebody related to them that does, you can get your tuition completely paid for at the University of Minnesota Morris without coming out of your pocket. It's good to know. I actually do have friends who are Native American and live on reservations that might be interested. They pull people from all over the place because of that. And then there's the haunted happenings. So, got your degree in computer networking and kind of started on a bachelor's in programming. You learned more before you went to school than you ever did at school. I hear that. Got your degree in computer science, learn more on the job than college, but suppose they gave you a base. You know, this is something I will say about college. People have made a mistake of placing the emphasis on the reason for attending college to be getting a good job. And that is a mistake because that's not what college really is meant to be for. College, the greatest thing you get out of college are two areas actually. First of all, in traditional college, the goal was not to teach you a degree or an occupation. The goal was to teach you how to think critically so that you could step into leadership roles. And that was the purpose of it. And so it was more about teaching you how to think, not what to think. Now, that has changed dramatically with the shift toward industrialization and the takeover of billionaires basically controlling what gets learned and taught. But ultimately, it was about putting control of your life in your own hands, teaching you how to think through problems and challenges that arise. And that is applicable no matter what your circumstance in life, if they were still doing it appropriately. And then the second aspect of it is undersold but very critical. It is networking and relationship building. The networking and relationship building you do in a college campus can make sure that you have opportunities and doors open to you that nothing else in life will ever open to you. So that's the thing. You were born in America, that makes you native to this land, right? You would think so, Steve. You would think so. But no, they're talking about what they would call indigenous peoples. I suppose I am not qualified as an indigenous peoples, even though my ancestors have been here since the 1600s, so more than 400 years. They had me guest lecture in the operating systems class during Linux weeks because you knew more than the teacher. Yeah. And that's the thing of it. It's that you may walk in knowing more than the professor. The professor is not supposed to be the end-all, be-all of expertise. They're just supposed to be specialized enough to know how to help you learn what you need to learn. Nice to see you, Malachi! Good. Playing in semantics. Yeah, I know, right? It is fun to play in semantics land. You can make a lot of things. You can make a lot of different meaning out of it. But, I understand why they offer free tuition to indigenous peoples, as they would say. And it's largely because, you know, there were some terrible things done to Native Americans. We can argue causes, we can argue thought process, we can argue a lot of different points, but, you know, at some point in time, justice does need to be restored, and that's a good way to do it. Help them get the education that they need to thrive. Yes, you do spot a newbie. He is in the background for sure.
Yeah.
He is my silent co-host tonight, along with Puff, who is passed out on the couch beside him because, you know, it's exhausting moving. Today I actually didn't do as much walking as I did the first 2 days. The first day I was here, I walked all over this town, literally. In probably at least 5 miles worth of walking. At least 5 miles. 250-ish years ago. Well, some of the Native American stuff wasn't 250-ish years ago. Some of that stuff was still happening in the 60s, if you can believe it. It's an interesting history the United States has of what we have done to one another. And I don't know that we've been kind to any one particular group. We've taken turns beating the tar out of each other. It's kind of like a family, a dysfunctional family, where you take turns beating the crap out of each other just because you can. Everything is going pretty well, actually. We have a lot of stuff, a 5x5 storage that will eventually have to migrate here to Morris. That'll have to wait until we actually get a place, a permanent place. The hotel has been extended for us at least another week or two. So we're going to be here at least until Ubi gets his first paycheck, which should be pretty sizable, and that should allow us to put on the first and last for a place of our own. We are still hoping to get that 4-bedroom. Hopefully it'll still be available by the time we've got everything together. And if not, we'll find something else. Yeah, exactly. Turf wars. I mean, yes, the English came over and pretty much took over, but we took it over. The Spanish had come over. I mean, everybody took turns taking it from everybody else. Let's be honest. That's how conquest works. It's how it's always worked. In the history of the world is a whole lot of people going to war with a whole lot of people to conquer and claim new territories. It's probably the only time in history we've actually had groups of people that felt guilty enough about hurting other people that they took actions to make reparations for it. So I would consider that massive progress in the human race. I don't think we need to use guilt as a belt to beat one another over the head with, but I do think there's a healthy amount of guilt and shame when you've done wrong for people and that you do need to work to set justice right. Yeah. Your family and your continuously praying for us. Well, I appreciate that, Malachi, because I am continuously keeping you guys in my prayers. I pray the rosary every day, and 99% of the time, you guys are mentioned by name, unless I'm just really, really exhausted and doing a quick rosary, in which case you're just all lumped into everybody on Ubi's channel. But pretty much I pray for you guys by name. Spanish, French, they were all taking from the Native Americans before we did, but we just did it all the way up the coast. Yes, exactly. And realistically, this is how things have always gone. Since Cain and Abel, right? Cain whacks Abel and kills his own brother, and then, has to move on and take over a different land. That's part of human nature. We're not particularly good at getting along with one another for very long. We have a really hard time with that, unfortunately. And we're seeing evidence of that even now, where, I don't know, deciding to go and drop bombs on other people.
You die.
So, but yeah, it's good. I'm getting to know the people in town, slowly but surely making my introductions. I did hold off a little bit on really introducing myself until I had for sure a start date, because, I had the one start date and then that didn't pan out, and it was a little bit of an embarrassment to me. But we're all back on track, and it's all good, and it's all glorious. So I updated my LinkedIn profile today. Fabulousness. And then, even M&M's fight with each other. I know, right? Who's the best color of all? Chocolate.
Audio.
I mean, that's what you eat it for, right? You don't need... Who needs green M&M's anyway? Who needs blue M&M's? So, the hotel's very nice. We have a pool and a hot tub, which I have not yet partaken of for various reasons. I do have my swimsuit with me, so I probably will do so tomorrow. Just to give myself a break and an excuse to work out.
It'll shut off.
Yeah. We've got the air conditioning going on, or not air, the heater kicked on. So Green, the answer is green. Always. Yeah, it's funny. So the town is pretty. You know, it actually is kind of pretty in a lot of ways. The only thing it's really missing that I wish it had that it doesn't is mountains. But you know, mountains are about a 3 hours drive away because we're actually closer to North Dakota than we are to even Iowa. So, mhm. So it's not that far for us to get to mountains, which is nice. And obviously the Great Lakes aren't that far from us either. So if we wanted to get over to Lake Superior, it wouldn't be that far a drive. Oh, no worries. No worries, Steve. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate having you.
That's so great.
So yeah, we're not that far from something that resembles mountains, and we're not that far from something that resembles the ocean. So you know, what can I do?
There.
Um, yay for the heater being off and you guys actually being able to hear me.
Freeze.
Yeah, apparently. That's what I got my coat for, right? No more freezing needed. And then, of course, here I am freezing. I'm cold, right? Because I think I'm running anemic this week. But at any rate, so I'm freezing. We go to McDonald's so I can have a little bit of dinner before stream starts. And what do I get myself? The most sensible thing I possibly could. A caramel macchiato. Frozen drink. Makes sense. Give the cold girl a cold drink. Like that. Sometimes I make no sense. Sometimes I don't try too hard to make sense. But yeah. So my goal here, like I said, is mainly to serve the people of Morris to the highest capacity that I've got and do what I can to improve morale to the greatest extent possible where it seems to be low, to help people find what they've got that they can offer the world. Yeah, I know, basically ice cream. So sensible. 80 degrees today. Yeah. Well, here it was spitting snow at us. Off and on. And when I went out earlier, and I did go out, I went out to buy socks and some tights for my legs because I have a couple of dresses that are nice that I like, but they don't have any bottoms, and when it's freezing cold and windy outside, you really do need some bottoms, so I bought a black pair of leggings to go underneath those and some black socks for Randy. And just getting ourselves winter geared up. His socks were all nasty and ratty anyway for the most part back home. So it's okay that they didn't make it with us. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if I left them in a bag or what. It's only 30 degrees up here in northern Vermont and it's supposed to be springtime. Hey, Malachi, when you're up north, I always tell people, do not count snow out until after May 31st. Like, that's when I stopped. Because I remember when I was 9, my parents moved to Evanston, Wyoming, which is up in the mountains about 2 hours to the east of Salt Lake City. It's up in the Grand Tetons. And so, at any rate, we lived up there. And we moved back in June, and it was just thawing out from the last winter snow, or from the last snow of the season. And so I never count snow out in any northern state until after like May 31st. So if you're going to plant stuff, you probably want to keep it indoors until after that, because you're otherwise likely at looking at it ended up being dead by some frost coming along. Now, I don't know if that's the case in northern Vermont, but I'm going to pretty well guess it is the case everywhere north of anywhere. But that's been my experience anyway, and I've lived several different northern states. So we lived in Nevada, we've lived in Colorado, we've lived, I've never lived in Utah, but I've lived in Wyoming, and now Iowa, and also obviously Minnesota. So shorts weather for you guys. Yeah, well, 30 degrees is pretty balmy when you've been under 10. You bought the paint and some more tape for the Fesley Super Strat rebuild and repainting project today because you're finally done sanding the whole thing and it's ready for paint. Woohoo! Nice job. Good job making progress on that. I personally can't wait until we get moved into a place and get to finish up that Groat and Birdman's Black 222. That'll be nice. And of course, getting Randy's guitars back, all from storage. So getting those set up. And then getting ourselves in position where we can start getting some of that gear given out to thank the community for all their support over this last year. Exactly. Yeah. No need to count it out until well after May. So yeah. It's but this place is nice. It's got a little couch there and it's got a very large king bed in the room, and this nice desk set up, and it's got 90 rooms in this hotel, so it's a decent sized little hotel. And they completely renovated it because was at the events coordinator was telling me that when they started the process of renovating it, the roof was leaking in places. There was nothing that was working anywhere, and they have fixed it all up, invested a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of energy in getting this place back to the point where it's very nice now. Very nicely furnished, nicely appointed. Really just a classy place. And I have to make a note because I had a thought about something that would bring people to the hotel.
Don't have those.
I know, right? That would not cost her anything, but it would be advantageous to the art community at the same time. It would be wanting to get that 222 first act double cut style guitar in tip-top shape for rocking and rolling it around. Yes, absolutely. Yep. We definitely want to get it to the point where we can at least hear what it sounds like. Poor baby. She wasn't really in good playable shape when she came, so and of course that Groat, I would love to hear what it sounds like when we get some upgrades put into her. And maybe because of the delay, we'll be able to invest a little extra in putting some special stuff in her. Now that she's all prettied. And honestly, what I would like to do for myself is get a guitar build from the scratch for myself, and then do artwork and stuff, and really customize it. And then I don't know what I'm going to do after that, but that might be my jam type thing. I did figure out, this is just for you guys, but remember how I'd ordered the Spoonflower wallpaper, and I was so disappointed because when it came in, it didn't fit the guitar. It was too small for the actual size of the guitar. Well, I figured out why. Spoonflower, for whatever reason, sizes down its wallpaper from the actual size of the upload. So it was at like an 87% size of the actual guitar. So what I'd have to do to make that workable, that wallpaper, which it printed beautifully, and I really wanted it to work, it's to separate out the parts and get it so that it's 100% instead of 87%, and then I'm pretty sure it would work. Yeah, me too. Me too, Malachi. It has so much potential to be a complete rock and roll machine. Yes, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And it'll be a beautiful work of art, as well as a rock and roll machine, which, would make my heart happy. And then I can give it to somebody who, has been wanting to get into guitar, but maybe just didn't have the resources. and get some shots of them playing it. And that benefits me, that benefits Ubi, that benefits the person who receives the guitar. It's a win-win-win all around. So, yeah. But we are, we're doing pretty well. Things are settling in, working out as they need to. Um, oh, the speaking engagement that I had on Tuesday went really well. And I actually ended up being given more time than I was supposed to be given. It just worked out that way. And of course, I was prepped with things, so I had something to say on the cuff, which not every speaker can pull that off. I mean, that is actually, quite frankly, asking a lot of a speaker to step up and fill the gaps impromptu. A lot of people can't do it and make it look like it's seamless. Last year, you ordered a decal for the 90s Jackson Grover Super Strat rebuild, and they also sent you a decal of the literal headstock with the Jackson logo on it. Oh, okay. No worries, Jeff. If you're back here later, that's great. And if you can't be, that's okay too. Thanks for stopping by. I definitely appreciate it. And if you're wondering why I keep turning my head over, it's because the chat, I guess I could technically pop out chat and put it over here so that I stop turning my head away from you guys. Man, I'm discombobulated tonight. That's hilarious. Wasn't even thinking about that. I should have. I just didn't. Now then, now I can read and look at the camera at the same time. We're going to make a professional of me yet. I'm so ready for my prime time. Put me in the spotlight. Coach, I'm ready to roll. Oh my goodness. I got to talk to Mia today on the phone. She was a chatterbox, which is good. She's getting old enough where she actually enjoys talking on the phone. Is the minute that she heard that it was Grammy talking to Daddy, she asked for the phone and wanted to talk. So she was making little things with sand, sculpting with sand. And she was giving me a play-by-play recipe for her sand sculpture, which is you take the sand and you shape it into a ball, and then you smush it down and you let it smush, and then you sprinkle it with more sand, which I don't know why you would do that, and then you pat it down. It's for sand sculpture. So she's so sweet. That is the one that is probably the hardest part about leaving West Des Moines, is leaving Mia. Eddie, he's okay. He's okay without us, and I know that he's okay. But Mia, we've had practically attached to the hip for a year and a half. And so it's kind of hard. And she'll be all right. And we'll make sure that's one thing I had to remind myself of, is the fact that technology has come a long ways. It's not like it was when I was growing up as a little girl, and once people moved away, you hardly ever heard from them because long distance was a beast of an expense. And, so you couldn't really afford to make long distance calls. Now you just, FaceTime people, and you can actually face-to-face chat with people, which I remember when I was in first grade, they were predicting we would be able to do that. And now here we are. So it's going to be a different thing. I just have to remember that I can stay connected to her. All I have to do is put in a little bit of effort. It doesn't have to be like we never see each other again, which I think part of me, because of my background, because of my experience, because of my past trauma, there's part of me that feared that that might be the case. Well, I'm glad to be able to put you in a good mood. I certainly try. I do try to bring the positivity. I actually got called, I don't know, do you know who William Hung is? Malachi? Do you remember that name? If you don't, he was on America's Greatest Talent, I think, way back in the day, in very early years. And he was hyped up by friends and family to do it. And they recorded him. He was so bad. So bad that he became a meme, right? Most people would have crumbled under the kind of ridicule that he got, because he literally got everybody on the internet was making fun of the guy. Let me see if I can find he became a motivational speaker out of it, but yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can pull that up and show it to you.
What I really like about her is that sometimes she is not afraid to.
Let's see. I'll just share it in chat. That'll be easier. Anyway, he got known for it, and was basically made fun of him by everybody on the internet. Like, they were all razzing him. And, you know, a lot of people would have crumbled under that, and some people might have even become suicidal. But William Hung decided to turn that into a speaking opportunity, and he launched his career. Yeah, exactly. He launched his career over it. And I met him in Los Angeles at a conference, 4-day conference that I was going to. And, you know, I didn't know him. He didn't know me when I walked in. And by the time we were done with the conference, I had helped so many people in that room that he came over and he wanted me to be on his podcast, because he said, "You are the most relentlessly positive person I have ever met." And especially when I told him, you know, some of my background, and that my life has not been a cakewalk. It's been full of hard stuff to go through. A lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of suffering and a lot of poverty and a lot of, well, if you can pretty much imagine it, it's probably been in there somewhere. And yet I have managed to come out of it positive. And he's like, "I just want my audience to hear how you do it. How do you stay so relentlessly positive?" And it was the first time anybody had ever called me relentlessly positive. But it's a title that fits, and it's a choice that I make to look for the good no matter what is going on, no matter how bad things get, to find a reason to say thanks to God for it. And that is actually something that God himself taught me to do when I was about 32 years old. And at one point in time, I didn't feel like I had any reason to thank him. And I told him so. I'd like to be grateful, but I don't see any reason to be. And he's like, "Well, then thank me for everything you don't want." And I was like, "Well, why would I do that? Why would I thank you for what I don't want in life?" He said, "Because I'm working it for your good and my glory, and that should be good enough." I was like, ouch, okay. So I began the practice of thanking him for all the things I didn't want in life. And that in turn helped me to start imagining how he was going to take what was so traumatic in the moment and turn it toward my good. I got to playing this gratitude game, which is where you say, "I am so grateful and happy for XYZ, whatever it is you didn't want in life," right? Because in the end, it led me to this positive thing, this outcome that I really do want. And so then you use your imagination to write basically a mental story of how this negative thing that you hate in life is going to lead to this positive thing that you really want in life but don't think is possible. And by the time you're done, you're feeling better, because you've trained your brain to see possibilities in the middle of hardship. And that's a very, very difficult skill to develop for most of us, but once you do, you become unstoppable. You really can't be held down or held back by anything, because you know there's always going to be a way forward. But no matter how dark things get, there's a light out there. And yeah, honestly, I think that's the whole point of us going through winter seasons in life. That God wants us to see that, yeah, winter's rough. You know, nothing looks like it's growing. Sorry, I've got tangles in my hair and it's hurting. Nothing looks like it's growing. Everything looks like it's dead. It looks like it's barren. It looks like it's bleak and hopeless. But underneath the surface, the trees aren't dead. What's happening underneath the surface is that the roots are pushing down deeper, pushing down so that they can sustain bigger growth when spring finally comes. And that's what happens in our lives too, is that when we hit those winter seasons, when everything looks like it's dead or dying or decaying all around us, and it's barren and it's bleak and it's cold and it looks so hopeless, what's happening is that we're being cultivated and grown stronger so that when the growth comes in that next season, we can sustain it. Because your growth can only exceed your foundation by a few points. It's like a house, right? If the foundation isn't strong enough, there's only a certain amount past that foundation that your house can spread before the whole thing comes down, crashing down around you. You have to constantly be expanding the capacity of the foundation to be able to sustain growth. And so that's the purpose of those winter seasons in life, is that they do help us grow. They help us put down roots. They help us develop strength. They help us get ready for growth. I joke that, you know, fertilizer is made of manure. So realistically, if life is shoveling manure in your direction faster than you can process it, you're being fertilized. You're having crap shoveled your direction so that you're going to get all those good nutrients that you need to grow better, faster, and stronger and be more fruitful in the next season. But that doesn't mean that it smells good. It doesn't mean that it feels good. It doesn't mean that it looks good in the moment. It just means that it's going to come out good eventually. And when you believe that and you hold on to that, it's a lot easier to hold on to hope and to stay positive even when things look negative. And so I'm really grateful for all the changes in my mindset. Yeah, well, you are having crap shuffled your direction right now, Malachi, but that's just helping. It's gonna there for you to be able to grow fruitful in the next season. It's trimming off some of those rough edges that maybe are being an obstacle to you actually being able to achieve the things you desire and dream of. And you have to remember that before any construction can begin, destruction must come. This is the hardest truth to embrace, but it is also the most important truth to embrace. Is that we often have dreams in our lives. We often have things that we'd like to achieve, things that we would like to come true. But in order for that dream to be built, God's got to take whatever garbage is on the land. We are the land, right? God's got to take out the garbage. He's got to get rid of all the trash in our lives, all the things that are holding us back or stopping us. And some of that's mental and some of it's emotional. Some of it's the people in our lives. Sometimes it's the things we're attached to that he's got to get us to let go of. So destruction will always come before construction can begin. And the process of destruction is hard because we don't want to let go. We don't want to let go of what we've got. We don't want to let go of the past. We don't want to let go of what we think we need in life that maybe we don't need. And so we tend to fight God on it. We're like, no, don't make me let go of this. Why did you throw that away? I wanted that. But the longer we take to let go, that's the longer the destruction part takes. The quicker we are to let go, the quicker we are to accept and surrender that these things need to be gotten rid of in our lives, then the sooner that God can clear the land and start the construction part of the phase. And so it's hard to remember, but it's an important thing to remember. And the construction phase can take a long time. I mean, one time I was very impatient with God because I felt like he was taking too long to deliver what I'd asked. And I told him, I said, why do you take so long? And he said, because what I build for eternity. He said, I've built it at the rate you want it to go. It would not be on a stable foundation, and you would get it, and then it would fall to pieces. He said, what I'm building for eternity, so it's going to take a while. It's going to be done right. It's got to take a while. And that helped me to get the right mindset to develop patience. I won't say that I developed patience right away because I still struggle with that area. But I did learn that God is more than willing to teach you patience. And he does it by making you wait and sending you people that test your patience on a regular basis. And when you no longer get frustrated or angry because things are taking too long, or you no longer get frustrated or angry with the people that irritate you, you know that you've got it. So, in the meanwhile, though, you kind of gotta get used to that mindset that if God is taking a while on delivering what you've asked, it is only because what he is building for eternity, and he wants it to last. And then that makes it easier to stay positive in the moment when things aren't going the way you want them to. And that's kind of, these are the little tricks of my mindset that help me to stay positive in the negative moments of life. That help me to see past the moment to the positive possibility beyond it. And yeah. Yep, you got broad shoulders, strong legs, and a back, so you can handle the fertilizer that life shoves toward you. Well, that's good, Malachi. It's good that you do. I mean, after all, you've had to recover from a lot, so... And God has taken a lot from you, but that is part of the process of him helping to prune us into a more fruitful and productive individual, if you will. Somebody who can handle more of life's adversities. And really, it's a process of leadership. Because whether you recognize it or not, whenever you step up to become a YouTuber, you are stepping into a role of leadership. And the people that watch your channel and that follow your channel, they're going to be influenced by your words, by your thoughts, by your deeds, by the way you handle things or don't. And it's important that you be prepared and be the right kind of example for other people to follow. So there's a lot of pruning that goes on in the life of somebody who wants to step into leadership, or somebody who's being prepared. Ooh, pardon me for yawning in your face. Somebody who's being prepared for leadership, whether they really want it or not. And quite often people don't necessarily think of themselves in that way, but that is, you're going to meet critics, you're going to meet adversaries, you're going to meet people who hate your face just because it's your face. Yeah, that's happening to you now. You keep getting trolled, and they're trolling you through email, but you just keep ignoring because you're better than that. You've changed your ways. Yeah, that's good, Malachi. One thing that I will say is that, when it comes to critics and adversaries, those are not your enemies. Those are your best friends. Because they're going to tell you things about yourself that your friends and family will never say to your face. Because they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to hurt your feelings. But your critics and your adversaries, they don't give a flying flip about your feelings. So they're just going to tell it like it is. So if you're getting a lot of criticism, or if you're getting a lot of people, coming at you, my recommendation, this is what I had to learn to do when I started putting my books out there, because there's nobody more brutal than the people who leave reviews on Amazon. Trust me. One of the things that I learned though is that if you're getting that criticism, if you're getting that adversaries coming at you, stop and pull the emotions out of the equation. Listen to what they're telling you. If there's actionable advice in it, if there's anything at all that can help you improve, take it. Take what they're giving you as a gift and work to improve that area of your life or your mindset or whatever it is that they're picking on you for. And if there's not any actionable insights that they're providing you, if they're just saying things like you're dumb or you stink or you're whatever, you're ugly, whatever. A couple of things to do with that. First of all is to recognize that 97% of people who view your stream are never going to say anything. They're never going to comment. You won't know what they think. You will have no idea how they feel about what you're doing. And in a way, that's normal, right? 97% of people. Of the remainder, those 3% remainder, 2% of them are going to be negative people who crap on you and just leave negative stuff. So you got to learn to handle those. 1% is going to be somebody positive who has something nice to say. Yeah, trolling is unnecessary. There's no advice in what they're saying. It's just being hurtful and mean. When somebody is being hurtful and mean, I want you to think about this. Christ tells us that out of the heart come the words of a man. So if they're being mean and hurtful, realize that it's not about you. What they're doing is vomiting out of them the garbage that's in them. And that may be the best that they have to offer. In a way, the fact that they commented it all is a compliment. They took time out of their day to say something to you.
Of course, probably in some people's particular cases, they should work on the only thing that they can fix, which is themselves.
Well, that's also true. That's also true.
And not worrying about bad-mouthing people in emails and other people's chats across the ocean.
That's also true. It's always good to be positive about other people wherever we go, if we can be. Well, yeah.
And also, some people need to remember that things that they do get around in the community.
Well, this is true. Like, I will say that if you're having, if it gets out that you've been talking about other people in a negative manner, it might cause some hurt feelings among people. And that might come back to you in the way that they respond and react. So it's always good to be careful how we talk about people, especially when we're in a role of leadership as a YouTuber. When we're in a role of leadership, the things that we say about other people to other people have more weight. They make a difference. And we really ought to be careful how we talk about them. So, but yeah. But if somebody's spewing garbage and all it is garbage and it's not helpful, or it's not in any way useful, then, like I said, consider that is the best that they have to offer. And take it as a compliment that they bothered to say anything at all. And like I said, put to work what you can. Anything that's offered that's useful advice or useful commentary, use it in your favor. Examine what you could do to improve. Don't resort to talking about other people on other people's streams. because it does get back around. It does get back around, and it does result in a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of misunderstandings. So you kind of got to be mindful of how you speak, mindful of how you treat others, no matter where they are, whether you think they're watching or not. And but yeah, I always look at it as an opportunity for growth. You're doing your own things and enjoying the YouTube journey? Yep. Well, that's good. That is good. All right. Let's see what time is it. I've been yapping my mouth off. So, I definitely appreciate you being here tonight, and I think I am going to close a little bit early. Usually I go until 8, but tonight I've kind of got a headache, and so I think I'm probably going to close a little bit early, but I do thank you guys for joining me. It was good to see Jeff and Malachi and Timmy for as long as he was able to be here with us. And also Steve Gunner. And I appreciate all of that. I appreciate the support you guys have showed us in every way that you have. And I hope to see you again next week, and I will have new updates on how my job's going and maybe some updates on other areas of life. And